guys, it's HMK. I got my lovely girlfriend here.
UmbrellaDispatch.
And my loving baby brother. Oh shit.
What's itchy? DNA82.
And we're here to discuss, well, I'm mostly going to discuss, they're going to put in their own inputs because they love the game as well. We're going to discuss certain aspects of the upcoming Legend of Zelda game, A Link Between Worlds, because we got some more info on it and we are anticipating its awesome release November 22nd this year in North America. My birthday! Oh, yeah. So, what we're going to discuss, one aspect I like to touch upon is the way for story progression. Now, you guys already know, placed Link to the Past. It was pretty linear, even though it was still in the open world. And how did you think about that in the Zelda game?
Well, I mean, I feel honestly, most Zelda games are kind of linear to a point, so it didn't really make a difference when I played Link to the Past. How I said, Ocarina of Time was like less linear because I can go to different temples and different orders. Certain temples, because you know you need items for the temples, blah blah blah. But other than that, the linear thing is not a problem. It's something Zelda's kind of used to at this point, so you can't really say it's new.
Very good.
I agree completely. There's nothing new about it.
Now, in A Link Between Worlds, they are talking about shaking things up. The first thing that, you know, was pointed at is that you're able to buy items in a shop in the Dark World, items that you will usually get from a dungeon. Like, from the shop you can buy a hook shot, you can buy your bow and arrow, you can buy the flame scepter, and a bunch of other things. Now,
Making it easier.
it's not making it easier per se, it's just changing up the things because remember you would need that item to progress in certain different areas, and now you can just buy that. Well, but what I think is that those items are going to be
Expensive.
super expensive, exactly. And not too long ago they released a statement saying that rupees will play the most important role they have in any Zelda game.
I don't think it's going to be expensive because if they make it crap load expensive, it's going to take grinding and grinding and grinding just to go to one dungeon.
Yeah,
grinding.
But that's why they put specific price points for each item. But it gives you the option to buy something else first instead, even though another item may be cheaper. That's all I'm saying.
Honestly, I think still if they put it at a certain price point, like, let's say they put the hookshot at 250 rupees, and then they put the bow at like 300-400 or something like that.
Yeah,
it's gonna be uneven because honestly, in most dungeons, probably most likely the bow would have more uses. So I understand if they put it more pricey. In my opinion, it's still kind of bad because like I think. The first dungeon may not need the hookshot, right?
Right.
The second dungeon may not need the hookshot either, but I guarantee you, like half the dungeons or more are gonna need the bow. So they're gonna have an uneven price point.
But remember, take this into account as well. Remember, the bow is very important in 3D Legend of Zelda games. This is a 2D one, so bow and arrow is just simply going to be a projectile weapon. And you know exactly because, like in Ocarina of Time, a 2D Zelda.
Boomerang. There you go. There's a one that's good, really important 2D ones.
Right.
The boomerang. If they put the boomerang at, let's say, like the 300 or 400 point for thing, I think that's an uneven and unfair price point, even though one or two dungeons need it.
Right. That's what I'm saying because they said that rupees is going to play the most important factor they do in any Legend of Zelda game in A Link Between Worlds. So what I'm thinking is that they're going to provide the system where you can choose any dungeon at first. First, you go exploring in the world, and then you come across a dungeon and it's like, oh, I need this item to go forward. You go to the shop and you can buy the hookshot to go forward in that dungeon. Or instead, you can decide to go to another dungeon first, and then it requires the bow, and then you buy the bow from the shop.
But this is what I'm also saying. Remember towards those linear Zelda games, that last dungeon that needed like 9 of those weapons.
Yeah.
You had to spend all that money for those. What I'm saying, unless they make each dungeon so equal that they need 1 or 2 items only, this won't work. They have to make every dungeon limited to the items they use. They can't just say like the Spirit Temple in Ocarina of Time took so many freaking items. It wasn't even no. It has to be an equal amount of items. Let's say the first dungeon had to take 1. The second dungeon takes 2 items. Now that's the linear Ocarina of Time. The first dungeon was the bow, so you got through it. The Megaton Hammer was the thing that you got, so you got through the Fire Temple too. But if when you went to the Water Temple, you needed the hookshot, you needed the bow.
Right, so that they need an even separation of items. I understand that, and that's what they do need if they plan to implement something like this because they are trying to eliminate a lot of the linearity that has been disclosed in many Zelda games.
People complain about linearity. I don't see it as a problem. Because remember, there's the difference between linearity and telling where the person to go. Like, do this, do that. There's a difference. Linearity is not a problem.
I know, but remember, in the rise of recent years, in the rise of Western RPGs and MMOs and stuff that provide many different paths to go off on in the beginning, just like Skyrim and stuff, many American gamers are complaining about linearity. That's why.
I want them to complain about linearity, and then I want them to play a really hard game with linearity, and then complain. Because if it's still challenging, what's the problem? Because I mean, it doesn't tell you freedom. It doesn't tell you, hey, you have to do this or you can't do it. No, it's telling you this is the direction you have to go. You don't have to necessarily do it the way I say you do it, but you at least have to go that way. It's not a problem in my opinion. Linearity is. I'm not saying it's a good thing either, but I'm saying it's an option for gaming that shouldn't be just ruled out because I'm used to freedom, so I have to be, hey, why can't I choose what to do? Why can't I choose to do
I totally agree with you when people are like, oh, linearity. Look, I love linearity because when some games do it right, it's still fun. But in the same right, I still want a touch or an aspect of freedom along with linearity.
I want that
will
never change.
What?
They're trying to put everyone's complaining about linearity. You know what game's never gonna do that? Pokemon's never gonna do that. Have you noticed every Pokemon game is technically linear because
they're
the badges. Yeah, the badges. You can't just go say I want to go to the last batch. You're gonna get your balls wrong. You can't even reach there.
Okay, because that's the initial adventure, and after that, Pokemon is all about capturing, becoming the best. Afterwards,
does anyone really play after? Unless you're a pro, does anyone really play after? No.
But we're digressing right now from other.
I was just talking about linearity.
Exactly,
because it's not a problem.
Right.
I love Pokemon's a linear game. What else is linear that people love?
Yeah, but also talking about linearity in terms of Zelda games, I guess they need something fresh because, like you said, all Zelda games up until this point have been pretty linear and stuff. In order to bring out something fresh and to break out of that mold, Skyward Sword did that a little bit. They took a page from Metroid and did that in Skyward Sword. So I feel that this may be the right path as long as they have the Zelda feel, going
as long as they implement like restrictions on how many items per dungeon.
Because that will.
I cannot have a dungeon with like 4 items. That's ridiculous.
Exactly. It will still eliminate linearity if a dungeon requires like 4 items because they say, oh, now you have to get this one, now you have to do this one, now you have to do this one.
No, it's not. That's not taking. Because if they have 3 dungeons at least with like a stack of 4 items or more, it's not taking away linearity. Because that means you're gonna do the first other dungeons that take 1 or 2 items first, guaranteed. Because you're not gonna sit there grinding for 4 friggin' items. Yeah. You're not. Well, I'm not gonna say no one has the patience because you'll be a troll on the internet saying that there's no patience.
Now, because see, that's the other thing that pertains. Like, when you buy a certain item and then you choose a dungeon, that's for the item. That's the part eliminating linearity. And then when you complete a dungeon, when you do the dungeon, it rewards you with many rupees, and that allows you to buy another item and then tap another dungeon.
I'll give you that, but remember, if they're gonna do like a stress on rupee thing, you know how like getting the Giant's wallet or the someone company wallet, were side things. It wasn't the main thing. They have to give that to you as a reward from a dungeon because
they
have to do that because if they're putting a stressful on that, they're gonna have to reward you with that eventually because you're gonna need money eventually.
No, because maybe it can still remain side quests that will add to the exploration because they tell you they have to. They're forcing you to look for it.
Wouldn't that be linearity? If they're forcing you, wouldn't that be linearity?
Very good point. Very good point.
See, it's not. I'm not saying that they have to. You have to. How am I trying to put this? This is a tough one because linearity, in my opinion, again, linearity is not a bad thing, but they have to make so many changes to Zelda as it stands now for it not to be linear because there's so many conflicting ideas here. Because most of the dungeons after the 3rd one, let's say, use so many items. That's how Zelda works. But if they have dungeons that take 1 or 2 items, then I mean, that's not.
But remember, because a lot of things you're saying I agree with, but a lot of things you're saying are pertaining to 3D Zeldas and stuff. And I think 2D Zeldas has the power to change most.
They have to start at a 2D Zelda anyway, because I mean, if they can do it on a 2D Zelda, then they eventually can do it on 3D.
Right, and that's many rumors pertaining to Zelda Wii U, the Twilight Princess sequel rumored. but that's a digression from A Link Between Worlds.
I'm looking forward to it, but that wall crap, is that an ability from the early in the game?
I'm pretty sure because it's heavy stress, so I'm pretty sure it's gonna be something you get an early game. Same thing like with the boat in Wind Waker, you get that early on. Because Link, as you see in all the art, Link does have a bracelet, and I'm thinking that's what allows him. Yeah, that allows him to do that. So they're putting too much emphasis for you not to get that early, you know. So
is it gonna take a meter?
Yes, it's gonna use a meter. It's broken, dude.
Is there enemies in the wall?
But that's how you get into the Dark World, by going through a crack in the wall, using the thing. So yeah, great discussion, guys. So I want to know what you guys think. Are you guys?
I'm looking forward, but I'm conflicted already.
You're conflicted. I'm looking forward to Link Between Worlds.
I'm excited. I want it.
Yeah, it's gonna be a great game. They know what they're doing.
It was good the first time.
Are you sure, Gio? They made the licenses for that Philips CDI. Are you sure they know what they're doing?
They know what they're doing.
At this point?
Yes. Because AG Unknown is still directing it. So
that's the guy from Skyward Sword?
No, that's the guy who directed Majora's Mask and Twilight Princess. The guy who directed
those games are controversial. Those games are controversial.
The guy who developed Skyward Sword was Fujibayashi. I forgot his first name.
Now I'm even more conflicted because those two that you named were controversial and people.
Dude, I have enough faith in Eiji. He knows what to do. And don't worry, dude. You know Shigeru Miyamoto. He's attached to all Zelda products, and he will write that game to the end of the earth to make sure it's good.
That means delayed games.
Remember, games. This slight digression ran in the video. So games at this point now, their development cycles are way shorter. So because they know what they're doing, they get more experience with each game, and they have more resources with each new Zelda game. So I'm guessing. I'm talking about Nintendo.
Okay, now you better correct yourself. Then Nintendo games development cycle is short.
All right, guys. So what do you think about Link Between Worlds? Are you excited as we are for it? Because we're a hell of excited. So until next time, I've been HMK.
I'm UmbrellaDispatch.
And I'm a no, I'm not gonna say that. DNA82.
And until next time,
I want toaster strudels. You have toaster strudels here?
we have English muffins.
No, fuck that.
I will check you guys later.
Oh!